Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, as you do every day. You sit on the edge of the bed. You try to stand up, but your legs don't respond the same. They feel heavier. You struggle to rise. You take a few steps and feel unstable, as if something inside you is gradually shutting down. And in that moment, without saying it out loud, you ask yourself the frightening question, what is happening to me? Maybe you blame your age. Maybe you think it's normal, that everyone reaches this point. But what if it's not just age? What if there's something more, something silent, something you eat every day believing it's good for you, but that's actually weakening you? They say fruit is the healthiest thing there is, that it comes from the earth, that it's natural, that it's life. But the truth is that not all fruit is the same, and even less so for a body that's no longer 20 years old, nor 30, nor 40. Sometimes what seems healthy might not be healthy for you. Did you know that there are fruits that, instead of giving you energy, take away strength? Fruits that accelerate muscle wear, impair your circulation, inflame your legs from the inside, and can make walking, climbing stairs, or simply standing up increasingly difficult. And we're not talking about exotic or rare fruits. No. We're talking about fruits you probably have right now in your kitchen, in your refrigerator, on your table. This video isn't meant to scare you. On the contrary, it's to give you clarity. Because when you know which foods can harm you, you have the power to choose better, to protect your legs, to remain independent, and above all, to keep walking with dignity. Stay with me until the end, because the most common fruit, the one everyone loves, the one most people eat thinking it's healthy, is paradoxically the one that can harm you the most if you're over 60. And before we begin, let me ask you something. Where are you tuning in from today, and how old are you? I'd love to read your answers in the comments, because this channel is for you, to care for each other, to inform ourselves, and to ensure you never lack reasons to keep moving forward, step by step. Now then, let's get started. Do you know why the legs are the first to fail as we age? It's no coincidence. It's biology. As we grow older, our bodies naturally begin to lose muscle mass. This process is called sarcopenia, and while it sounds complicated, it's very simple. Every decade, we lose a bit of muscle, especially in the legs. Why there first? Because your legs bear all your weight. They lift you, support you, allow you to walk, climb stairs, step into the shower, or simply go to the store. They are the foundation of your independence, and when they weaken, everything else starts to crumble. The worst part is that this loss doesn't happen overnight. There's no pain, no alarm. One day you just realize it's harder to stand up from a chair. You need to lean on something. Your stride becomes shorter, and you attribute it to age. But it's not just that. Because although aging is inevitable, the speed at which we lose strength can change. And do you know how? With what you eat every day. Your diet directly influences your muscles, the flexibility of your joints, the strength you have to walk, and the blood circulation that reaches your legs. And this is where things get delicate. Because there are fruits that, although natural, fresh and recommended for years, are not the best allies for you if you're over 60 or 70. Why? Because some have a very high glycemic index, meaning they raise your blood sugar rapidly. That excess sugar doesn't turn into useful energy. On the contrary, it transforms into inflammation, into visceral fat accumulation, into internal wear. And other fruits, even if they seem light, contain acids that affect your joints or trigger inflammatory processes that you feel exactly where you need strength most, in your knees, your ankles, the muscles that keep you standing. Let me tell you a story. Mr. Alfred was 78. Every morning he went out for his walk at the same time, 10 laps around the park. It was his ritual, his medicine, his peace. But one day, at the first step of the entrance, his legs shook. He struggled to climb. The next day he managed only half the distance. By the week's end, he no longer went out. He thought it was age, that it was normal. What he didn't know was that his breakfast, which included large amounts of very sweet fruits, was silently contributing to his loss of strength. Not out of malice, of course. He thought he was taking care of himself, that natural was best. And that's the problem. It's not just what we eat. It's when we eat it. How much. How your body reacts now, not how it did 30 years ago. There are fruits ideal for a 10-year-old child or a young athlete, but not for an older adult who needs to preserve muscle, avoid inflammation, and protect their joints at all costs. So what we're about to see isn't about demons or poisons, they're warnings. So you choose with more information, so you don't weaken your legs without knowing, so you keep walking with a firm stride for many more years. Shall we continue? Because now, we start with the list of the 6 fruits that sap your leg strength and hinder your mobility. And I promise, number 6 will surprise you. 1. Bananas. Let's begin with a fruit most of us have at home. One we associate with health, energy, and good habits. The banana. Yes, the banana. And even more so, the overripe banana. That sweet, soft, easy-to-eat fruit that many older adults consume frequently. But what not everyone knows is that when a banana reaches the stage where its peel is spotted with black, its sugar content soars. A ripe banana can contain over 20 grams of simple sugar, and when that sugar enters your body so quickly, it triggers an insulin spike, a hormonal surge to absorb the excess glucose. And what happens when this occurs repeatedly, day after day? Inflammation, fluid retention, increased abdominal fat, a constant feeling of heavy legs, stiff joints, and less energy to move. This is especially delicate for people with reduced mobility or existing muscle weakness, because that extra sugar doesn't become strength. It becomes another obstacle for your legs. And don't even get me started if you have diabetes, pre-diabetes, or circulatory issues. In those cases, the overripe banana isn't an ally. It's a trap disguised as a healthy food. Let me tell you about Rose. Rose, 73, widowed and living alone, always prided herself on eating healthy. Her breakfast always included 2 ripe bananas, one in the morning, another in the afternoon, plus a cup of tea. She felt they gave her energy, better than any bread or pastry. But over time she noticed something odd. Her legs would swell easily. Climbing her porch steps became a struggle. She felt as though she had weights tied to her ankles. She blamed her age. She blamed the heat. But she never suspected that the very habit she thought was healthy was the culprit. Her body was receiving too much sugar every day, sugar it could no longer process as before. The result was silent inflammation hitting where it hurts most, in the legs. Does this mean bananas are bad? No, it means you need to know how, when, and how much. A practical alternative is to eat half a slightly green banana. At that stage, it has fewer simple sugars and more resistant starch, which benefits the gut and doesn't spike blood sugar. And if you add a dash of real cinnamon, you'll help regulate glucose, while enjoying a warm, comforting flavor, perfect for your breakfast. Remember, it's not about eliminating, it's about adapting, because any food can be medicine or a burden, depending on how you use it. 2. Grapes. Now let's talk about something small, sweet, juicy, and surprisingly harmful if eaten indiscriminately. Grapes. Yes, those shiny green or purple clusters, often seedless for convenience. But here's the detail almost no one mentions. Grapes, despite their size, have one of the highest glycemic indexes among fruits. What does that mean? That even a small serving, say 10 to 15 grapes, can raise your blood sugar as rapidly as a sugary drink or pastry. Now imagine you're an older adult with a slower metabolism, less muscle mass, and perhaps diabetes, pre-diabetes, or circulatory problems. Do you know what happens when your sugar spikes like that, repeatedly? Peripheral nerves, especially in the legs and feet, begin to deteriorate. This damage is called diabetic or peripheral neuropathy. Early symptoms can be subtle, slight numbness, tingling in the toes, a cottony sensation underfoot. But over time it can progress to painful, uncomfortable, even disabling levels. Let me share Louis's story. Louis, 76, lived with his wife and proudly avoided sodas and sweets. He believed his daily grape ritual was harmless, a bunch of grapes with his afternoon coffee while watching TV. But one day, he noticed he was tripping more often. His toes felt out of control, his feet like they were asleep. Tests confirmed the diagnosis: peripheral neuropathy, likely aggravated by his diet. Louis couldn't believe it. He blamed his age, the years. Never did he imagine his healthy habit was undermining his ability to walk. Here, we're not demonizing fruit. We're learning how your body processes sugar now. After 60 or 70, your body doesn't handle sugar like it used to. What was once a harmless pleasure can now trigger silent decline. Does this mean you must eliminate grapes? Not necessarily, but you must moderate and combine. A simple guideline: no more than 6 grapes per serving, and ideally pair them with protein or healthy fat, like a handful of nuts, plain yogurt, or a slice of fresh cheese. Why? Because that combo slows sugar absorption, avoiding the damaging spikes. Remember, your body doesn't need prohibitions, it needs wise decisions. 3. Orange juice. The third fruit on our list doesn't come in clusters or individual pieces, it comes in a glass. Yes, we're talking about orange juice, even freshly squeezed at home. For decades, we've been taught that breakfast isn't complete without a glass of OJ. Refreshing, vitamin C packed, the symbol of energy and vitality. But what no one explained is this: when you juice an orange, you leave behind its most important component, the fiber. What remains is a liquid fructose concentrate, a natural sugar load that floods your bloodstream rapidly without any barrier to slow it down. Do you know what happens when that sugar hits your blood so fast? Your liver has to process it. Day after day of high fructose loads can overwhelm it, leading to a condition more frequently discussed now: fatty liver. And here's the link to your legs. When your liver is overloaded with fat, its ability to process nutrients, toxins, and regulate metabolism diminishes. That sets off a chain reaction: increased systemic inflammation, reduced efficient circulation to your extremities, fluid pooling in your legs, muscles receiving less oxygen. The result? Heavy legs, sluggish walking, nighttime cramps, evening swelling, fatigue even without exertion. This happened to Caroline. Caroline, 72, started each day with a glass of freshly squeezed OJ, 2 toasts, and a bit of butter, her energy ritual. But over time she felt perpetually drained. Climbing stairs hurt, her calves ached, her legs swelled. One day at the market she had to sit down, unable to take another step. Her diagnosis: moderate fatty liver, chronic inflammation, early signs of muscle weakness. The doctor was clear. The juice, despite seeming healthy, was overwhelming her metabolism. It wasn't just the orange, it was 3 or 4 squeezed into one glass without fiber, without balance. Just a sugar shock day after day, sapping her health. So what to do? Must you abandon oranges altogether? Not at all. You just need to change how you eat them. Instead of juice, eat half an orange whole, with pulp, with fiber. Chew it, don't drink it. And if you can, pair it with a handful of almonds or walnuts. Why? Because the orange's fiber slows sugar absorption, and the healthy fats stabilize your glucose and energy levels. That way, you transform a harmful habit into one that nourishes and protects. It's not about quitting fruit, it's about eating it wisely. 4. Watermelon. Next is perhaps the most innocent-looking fruit. Sweet, juicy, refreshing. Perfect for hot days. Watermelon. Who hasn't enjoyed a big slice of watermelon in summer? Its light texture and mild flavor make it a favorite for all ages. But here's something seldom mentioned. Although it seems mostly water, watermelon is surprisingly high in natural sugars. And crucially, in older adults, its effects can do more harm than good if eaten carelessly. When you eat large portions of watermelon, as happens easily because a serving can be huge, you introduce a high dose of fructose that's rapidly absorbed. With little fiber to slow it down, sugar floods your bloodstream. But that's not all. Watermelon also has a diuretic effect. It stimulates urine production. While that might seem beneficial for cleansing the body, in excess it causes a serious issue: accelerated loss of essential minerals. One of those minerals is potassium, key for muscle contraction, relaxation, stability, strength, balance. If you lose too much potassium and don't replenish it, your body feels it through. Frequent cramps, especially at night, muscle fatigue, even after a short walk, legs that won't respond, instability when standing or turning. This is what happened to Peter. Peter, 78, lived in a hot region. To stay cool, he ate watermelon almost daily in summer, sometimes half a melon in an afternoon. At first it seemed perfect. No cooking, quenched his thirst. But after weeks, his body changed. One day, while sweeping his yard, he cramped in the thigh. The next morning he had to lean against the wall to avoid falling. A week later, he tripped at his doorstep for no reason. Tests revealed your potassium is far below normal. Your muscles don't have what they need to function. No one suspected watermelon, but it was part of the problem. Does that mean you must give up watermelon? Not at all. The secret is moderation and balance. If you want watermelon, eat small portions. Don't consume it alone in large amounts. And if it's hot, hydrate with a more balanced alternative. A pitcher of water with lemon slices, cucumber ribbons, and a pinch of unrefined sea salt. That combo hydrates, refreshes, and helps replenish minerals lost through sweat and urine. Remember, what seems light can be treacherous, and sometimes the greatest harm comes from what we least suspect. 5. Mango. Now let's talk about a tropical fruit many adore: sweet, aromatic, tender, almost like a natural dessert. Mango, especially when fully ripe, soft, juicy, and intensely flavored. But here's the catch. That perfect ripeness also means a high sugar concentration. When you eat a very ripe mango, your body treats it not as simple fruit, but as a cocktail of fructose, glucose, and sucrose all at once. That sugar spike, even if natural, can trigger effects you may have noticed but not connected to mango. Have you ever felt sluggish after eating mango? Like you wanted to sit, felt a bit sleepy, or had heaviness in your legs? That's no coincidence. Excess blood sugar, even from fruit, produces drowsiness, reduced energy, and slower movement. If that happens several times a week, the effects add up. Moreover, ripe mango can amplify inflammatory processes, worrying for anyone already suffering joint discomfort or morning stiffness. Here's a real case. Mrs. Elvira, 75, loved mango. She ate it as dessert after lunch, made smoothies, and in season could eat 2 mangoes a day. One afternoon she mentioned, "Lately I struggle going downstairs. My knees feel rusty." We asked if she'd changed anything. "Nothing," she said, "except the mangoes are fantastic this month." That's when we realized her sugar levels were elevated and her inflammatory markers were rising. While mango offers fiber and vitamins, its glycemic load when very ripe can be too much if eaten uncontrolled. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up mango. You just need to choose its ripeness, timing, and pairing. A great alternative: slightly green or semi-ripe mango, firmer, tangy, even crisp. In many cultures it's used in salads, cut into strips with salt, lime, or a touch of mild chili. At that stage, sugar content is much lower. And if you pair it with something savory or a healthy fat, like avocado or nuts, you slow sugar absorption and keep energy stable. Remember, a fruit can be delicious and still carry hidden challenges that affect your mobility over time. If your knees, ankles, or hips are sending you pain signals, very ripe mango might be a factor. 6. Dates and other dried fruits. Finally, we come to a fruit that seems harmless, but can be treacherous: dates. And along with them, all dried fruits many consider a healthy snack: raisins, dried figs, dried plums, dried peaches. Those small bites that, though natural, are concentrated sugar. A lot of sugar. The problem with dried fruits is twofold. First, removing water shrinks their volume. A handful of raisins equals 3 or 4 bunches of grapes. A single date can contain more sugar than half a banana. And because they occupy so little space, it's easy to overeat without realizing. Second, their glycemic index, the speed at which they spike blood sugar, is much higher than fresh fruit. What happens when you eat 2 or 3 dates thinking you're fueling up? Your body gets a rapid glucose load. At first you feel energized, but that spark fades fast. The sugar crash leaves you more fatigued, less balanced, with weak legs. Joaquin, 78, experienced this. Every morning after his coffee, he ate 3 dates, his natural fuel. Over time, he found his legs unsteady. Walking made them tremble. Climbing a step made him waver. He blamed age, until he reviewed his diet and saw the dates were doing more harm than good. His blood sugar fluctuated wildly. His gut microbiome was unbalanced, causing bloating, fatigue, even insomnia. Yes, another little-known effect of dried fruits is on sleep. Those afternoon sugar spikes can cause nighttime awakenings, light sleep, and feeling unrested. And when you don't rest well, your muscles tire faster, reflexes slow, and you're prone to falls, injuries, and breakdowns. This isn't about demonizing dates or dried fruit. It's about knowing how and when to enjoy them. Better options include 1 date halved and stuffed with a walnut or almond, a very small handful of raisins stirred into plain, unsweetened yogurt, a teaspoon of chopped dried figs sprinkled over a green salad. In these pairings, fiber, healthy fat, and protein slow sugar absorption, preventing dangerous spikes. Remember, the key isn't prohibition, it's wise choice. Your body feels it. Your legs thank you. Your energy rewards you. What to do next? Now that you know which 6 fruits may be weakening your legs and compromising your mobility, it's time to focus on the positive. How to build a diet that restores strength, stability, and confidence in your steps. Because your legs don't need sugar, they need strength. And that strength doesn't come in a magic pill or miracle supplement. It comes from what you put on your plate, day in and day out, from the moment you open your eyes in the morning. Let's start with the essentials. Protein. As we age, we lose muscle mass faster than we imagine. Sarcopenia, which hits the legs hardest. A low-protein diet is a silent sentence to weakness. The solution? Include quality protein in every meal. An egg in the morning, or 2 if you can. A piece of fish, chicken, or legumes at lunch. A handful of nuts or a plain yogurt in the afternoon. And it's not just how much, it's when. Many older adults barely eat breakfast, just coffee and a cookie, and then wonder why their legs feel weak, their bodies frail, their energy gone. Your body needs fuel early. A protective breakfast for your legs might look like a boiled or lightly fried egg, half an avocado with a pinch of natural salt, a slice of whole grain sourdough bread, a glass of water with lemon and a pinch of sea salt. See? No indulgence needed, just intention. The lemon provides vitamin C for your joints. The egg and avocado deliver protein and healthy fats. The whole grain gives slow-burn energy. The sea salt helps retain the water your muscles need to stay firm. Here's another forgotten secret. Many older adults aren't tired from lack of strength. They're dehydrated. Muscles without enough water can't support you. They become unstable, achy, shaky. So, sip water throughout the day. Add a squeeze of lemon and a pinch of natural salt in the morning. Pair every meal with real, unprocessed foods. Remember, your legs have carried you through joys and sorrows for decades. Don't punish them with sugar overload or inadvertent neglect. Give them what they need. When your legs are strong, your life is strong. Beyond food. Sometimes we assume that if it's natural, it must be good. If a fruit grows on a tree, it can't harm us. And for many years, that may have been true. When we were young, our bodies could handle anything. But bodies change. What once gave energy now drags us down. What once passed without consequence now leaves a mark. That doesn't mean we're fragile, broken, or diseased. It means we're alive, with decades of miles on our legs, and it's time to care differently. Today, natural is still valuable, but not every natural thing is good for everyone, in any amount, at any time. This isn't a condemnation of fruit. It's an invitation to observe, listen to your body, and understand that some foods may be undermining your mobility without your noticing. It's also a message of peace. This isn't about living in fear. It's about living with awareness. You don't have to stop enjoying life. Just choose more wisely, because your legs deserve strength, stability, and care, just as you care for what matters most. So look at yourself with kindness. Open your fridge and pantry with purpose. If you discover you've been eating something that doesn't serve you, don't blame yourself. Just change. Each step you take today can be firmer than yesterday, if you decide to feed your body with intention and respect. Were you surprised by any fruit on this list? Was there one you thought was completely harmless, and now see in a new light? Tell me in the comments, which of these fruits do you eat most often? Have you ever noticed feeling bloated, sluggish, or your legs heavy after eating it? This space is for you, and for everyone learning to care for themselves with clear information, without fear or guilt. If this video helped you understand something new about your body, share it. Send it to someone you love, someone who also deserves strong legs and steady steps. Because sometimes, a small change on your plate can prevent a fall, give you more stability, and restore energy. If you want to keep learning about real health, what you feel in your bones, your digestion, your mind, and your heart, subscribe. Here, we speak truthfully, without frills, without taboos, with care. Because you deserve information that empowers, not scares. See you in the next video. And in the meantime, do something good for your legs today, because they support you, and you deserve to keep walking firmly for many years to come.